Grief girls, grief girls.
Hi, so here we are, Grief Girls, broadcasting live from North Scituate. It's Tamara and Paula again, and today we were hoping to speak to you about sort of the things, the tools that we use to kind of take us through some of the just get us through the days when we were in such deep suffering. What did we do? What were our routines and those kinds of things that help get us through the days? So we are going to talk to you about that. But before we begin, we have a huge thank you for Maria Stefanos, who had us. She came to visit us with our support group about 2 months ago, and she wanted to do a segment on our support group because she was just really amazed by the fact that we didn't have any professionals kind of leading the group. It was just a bunch of women who have been through deep loss, the death and passing of their soulmates, and we kind of came together organically and just had conversations and just were able to talk and feel heard and feel connected and have a place to vent and to cry and to be free to say whatever we wanted to say without having anybody trying to fix our problems that can't be fixed. So, Paula, what do you want to say to Maria?
Excuse me. I'm blown away by her interest, and it was a very spontaneous meeting. I've said this before for Eddie Doyle from the Bullenfish Pub, and we were all at a memorial service for him down the Cape, and I ran into Maria, who knew Jeffrey, and her sister Nicole obviously knew Jeff also, and I was amazed by her interest. And at first she was just asking in general, as a friend would do, how you doing? And then as the day went on, we kept talking about it, and she kept returning back to that point, and then went from there to a text, to a conversation, to her coming here, to her producing it, which I think she did a fabulous job, because it is a lot. The meeting's a lot, the emotions are a lot, the topics are a lot, and she did such a great job editing it and getting all those major points in within, I think she had 3 minutes to do it. So another godsend for me to run into her and for this to all happen, and then for her to boost our podcast, which is for those people that cannot get out to a meeting and don't have a meeting and don't have a place to go. So I thank Maria tons and tons and tons for her professionalism and just her compassion for the subject.
I know, I was really amazed by that too when she came to our group, Paula, because I could see the tears in her eyes as she's listening to us. Like, she really had compassion. She had loss in her life, different from our loss. It wasn't her husband, it was her parents. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she had a hard time getting through that, as most people probably do. And any kind of loss is really hard to deal with, and it's just different. I think it's just different. And she kept acknowledging that, which I was grateful to hear too, because I've had people say to me, you know, I know how you feel. My mom just passed. And I try not to react to that. Not like my friend Paula over here, who had a nice reaction.
I don't do well with that one.
No, but it's different. It's so different. I mean, you're with your husband every single day, and it's just different. But I really appreciated Paula. She made us feel so comfortable, and it's nice to get that shout out, because we're already getting, you know, people's interest in doing their own support groups in different locations in the North Shore, for example. So we'll be communicating that once we can figure out, you know, when that's going to happen. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we're hoping that we can get some more people going with these support groups and just really have that reach expand from North Scituate outward.
And even to say, so people that are not in our position that watched it, and I told you on the way down that I've had some people reach out that aren't in our position, just to give them a sense of awareness, so that when they come across someone that has lost a spouse, or, you know, best friend, doesn't even have to be a spouse, it can just be whoever, their best friend in the whole entire world. Now they have maybe a better way to express their sympathy,
right,
which can be, like I said in the beginning, we talk about this, how I look back at how raw we were in the beginning. I mean, just shredded. So I think it helps other people become more aware of our situation.
Right, to have what things to say, maybe not say.
Mm-hmm. How to help.
Yeah, how to help. Sometimes you just need a sounding board. Sometimes you need someone just sitting there holding your hand. And we know you can't fix the problem. There's nothing you can do that can fix the problem. The problem is our husbands passed, and they're not coming back. And so sometimes we just need a friend to give us a hug, to hold our hand, to just listen, to just show up. And that's all
validation. not, oh, it's been 3 years. Aren't you over that yet?
Right. That's very hurtful.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for a person like myself. I don't do well with that.
No.
No.
So anyway, so we want to get into our discussion about some of the things that we did to kind of walk us through our pain, things that helped us. And I mean, I think, I'll start with just saying that I definitely had to have my morning time. So I think getting outside is a big thing. Now I'm a runner, so that's kind of easy for me. It's something I've been doing my whole life. I get up before the sun comes up often, and I'm get outside running. And that definitely carried me through my early grief, because that fresh air, it kind of wakes you up. It kind of, watching the sunrise, it gives you that light that just expands inside your heart. And you can start see some signs in the sky sometime. That's what I was doing, looking in the clouds and the sun, and finding Mike there, and finding my love and my peace and all those things.
Your hawk.
My hawk, I know. So yeah, that's something
Yeah,
very, very special. And someday I would love to bring Emma in and kind of talk, her talk through the story. But actually, you notice on our podcast cover, if you look in the clouds, see if you can find my hawk, because that's where it is.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I'll let Paula maybe run with one of her ideas that she did.
Well, just to touch on what you said, and this is for you to go out, and when you're running, you need to breathe, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think you breathe much at first. I don't remember just really taking deep breaths. I don't remember just being conscious of breathing. So for you to go out and run, I used to walk a lot with Jeff, and before that, and we used to run. It was hard for me to go out to walk because I've missed him so much in the walks.
Yeah.
But which is very unlike me, I started writing my own blog. It's not published. It's just my blog. So I felt as though I was talking to him when I wrote that, and it really felt good to get it out and onto a page, which eventually I was just telling Tam that I'm going to make it into book form for my kids someday so they can read the day one till I'm going to write it forever.
Right.
And until it doesn't interest me anymore. But it still feels good to sit down at his computer and write. Mm-hmm. And I told you the story of when I went to Mary Beth Sheehan, and she kept telling me he really enjoys when you write. Yeah. And my sister-in-law was sitting next to me and she says, "You write?" I said, "No, I don't write. I write on the computer." And Mary Beth Sheehan said, "That's when he's sitting closest to you." Yeah. You really, and how would she know that?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, my bestie down there, Brenda, who knows everything, didn't know that.
Right. So. And I think it's a beautiful story to give it to your kids someday, because, that's going to help them maybe understand how mom was really feeling. Maybe someday we were talking about that, they may lose a spouse, and it might help them know that, what, my mom did this, she got through this, and this is how she did it. And wow, what love. And I'm going to get through this too. So I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that you're doing. I also wanted to touch upon, what was it?
Other things you did to get through the day.
Yeah, I was just thinking something that you had said, and now it's gone. This is what happens to my brain, Paula.
We have fog. It's called widow's fog. It lasts forever.
No, but I've talked about this before, but just like the prayers, like I would be at the beach, and for some reason, I used to run in quiet all the time, and I'm trying to get back to that, because I do think there's some benefit to being quiet in my head. Mm-hmm. But right now, I just need as much noise, I guess, if you will. It's not noise. I'm listening to scripture, listening to prayers, I'm praying along with the prayers I'm listening to, and that's part of my routine. So if I'm feeling anxious, I just do that. I just get back to my routine. I get to YouTube, and I've got the rosaries on there. I turn on the Hallow app. I listen to something there. So that's kind of what I did to keep my mind busy from going in the places I didn't want it to go. Mm-hmm. Bring me back to where I know God is present in me, where I'm feeling uplifted. I know that there's hope. I know there's love. And that is what really helped me. And now I just remembered what you were talking about. You were talking about the breathing with the running. Now, one of the tools that I learned from cranial sacral, because I've tried so many different things with my pain, the cranial sacralist taught me that deep breathing. And it's something so simple you can do anywhere. Mm-hmm. And it honestly, and I used it with my kids, whenever we get so you either get it in your heart, you get this anxiety in your heart or your stomach, and it's just, it won't go away. And it's so unsettling, right, Paula? It hurts so bad. And I would just take these deep breaths, and maybe it would take 5. It didn't even take that long. Maybe do it for a minute or two. and then it would just pass, right? And it's amazing how the deep breathing, and I mean, long inhales, long exhales, and that really made me feel so much better. Did you ever do that?
I have done it. I've tried to tell my kids that too. Like for some reason, if I take my thumbs to my middle fingers and breathe, my focus goes on the tapping and the breathing. And my own kids suffer from anxiety, and I always tell them just to, you can use the brush to brush your skin too, which helps along with breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that for them, and it settles them down. Which, it's a spiral effect. Once it starts, it's very hard to recover.
Yeah.
And when I did have anxiety, Jeff was the only person that could bring me back from that space. So I've learned to do it on my own. But you're right, it's the breathing, and it's so simple, and we forget to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, really breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like my breaths are like, we're on the treadmill still.
Right.
And we talked about this the last podcast a little bit. What are we going to start doing now for ourselves again? Like, I'm going to get back more into my painting. I'm going to quit, leave one of my jobs. I'm going to start thinking about what do we want now in this new role of, it's not Tam and Mike anymore. It's Tam.
Right.
It's not Paula and Jeff. It's Paula.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And what does it look like?
Right.
You know?
And I think I think that I've been able to open my eyes to that a little bit. Going through another huge tool, I think that if people have the means to do, the will to do in a lot of cases is the therapy. Like I have done a ton of work, Paula, with a therapist.
Yep.
I needed it. I was I'm going to just call her Steph. She was a godsend to me, given to me by my friend Susie. And I just don't know how I would have made it through without her. I was in so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about it, right?
I know.
Sorry.
I know. No, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
This is the safe place that you can.
I know.
You can feel like this, and you can cry, and you don't have to hold it in here.
Yeah. But Steph was, she just helped me think through all the things that I was like. It was just such trauma. Like the sickness and the trauma is so significant. Just watching someone that you love just like sink away and just like come back to me.
Yep.
I couldn't get him back. And so she just helped me with, because everybody goes through all the thinking of like the what ifs, right?
Oh.
And what could I have done better and all that. And anyway, I would definitely recommend getting therapy. I got it for myself. All my kids were seeing therapists too. I mean, I have 4 kids and they were all seeing therapists. I'd say I've got the 3 girls and Christopher, the youngest, I'm not sure how much benefit he got to therapy. I had him in it for almost 2 years.
Wow.
And, it was really, I don't think he really opened up much, but what I hope with that is that someday he's just open to going back if he needs to.
Well, you exposed him to it.
I exposed him to it. And it wasn't a bad experience. It wasn't a great experience, but at least nothing. It wasn't a bad experience. But, I'm hoping that if he ever needs it, he knows. He's seen it with me. He's seen it with his sisters that it helped all of us so that he knows it's not taboo. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's something that you can it's a tool in your toolbox that you can pull out and go to, if you're willing and have that desire to do that.
So healthy.
And it's healthy. It's
just
just
a space.
Yeah, a total. I mean, that I have to say, like that's where I really tell absolutely everything. Which, I mean, there's pieces to my grief, Paula, I can't even share in our support group.
Of course,
I can't even share to my best friends because it's so painful.
Mm-hmm.
But with my therapist, she knows absolutely everything, the darkest things that have gone on, and the hardest pieces. So it's definitely something that to consider.
It's sacred. It's a sacred space, a sacred place that you can talk to. You have that and you have your faith. So when I'm in church, I always laugh a little bit when I get to church at first because I say to God, like you don't know what I'm thinking.
I know.
You don't know my heart. You don't know my
everything.
mind.
Yeah.
And that's the freedom of it.
Yeah.
So when I go in there, some days I've had a week and I'll say, look, I can't even talk to you about it right now.
Yeah.
You just know. So just give me a minute to collect my thoughts and then I'll talk about it. But to him, but that's what the beauty of, I like daily mass. I like it better. I don't go to the weekend mass. I don't like all the hoopla. I like just being there, quiet meditation for 30 whole minutes.
Yeah.
Listen to the gospel, get a chance to get, what did I do? What can I do better this week? What did I not handle well? Who do I owe no apology to?
That list is short, Paula.
That list is short. Could have done that better. But, we are who we are, so I'm learning.
Yeah.
And we're learning about ourselves in this whole thing. I mean, who are we now? So all these tools you talk about, and when we talk about that in group, which is important to go to our group, and like we said, it's a safe space, and people do share their strategies. and you need them.
Right. There's new ones that pop up. I love going to mass too. I mean, I feel like, you know, how you think about, we always circle back to like the blessings. Like my parents are now coming to mass with me, where they stopped going to mass. I don't know if they ever really went to mass. My dad he was, you know, Catholic boy growing up. So he was, you know, but once, you know, we had our family and like he and my mom got married, they didn't bring us to mass, but now they're coming back with me. So I love that piece of it. And I go there and I do. I mean, I don't cry as much in mass as I used to. I mean, people probably sitting around me like, what's wrong with this lady? Crying my eyes out. And I mean, staring up at Jesus. And I just would stare up at him on the cross there. And I got to a point where I just kind of realized, you know, because I saw, I don't know if you saw Jeff when he had passed. I saw Mike when he was passed. And it was, I can't get that out of my head. And so I'm like, it's just, you know, it's a dead body is what it is. Like they're not there anymore. And Jesus, we look at him with love on that cross. You know, look at him with love, and he's not there. He's, you know, his spirit has left him at that point. So that's what that helped me kind of get through the pain of having that kind of trauma, you know, of just thinking about Jesus and having that love of him Mike being pulled up into heaven by Jesus.
Oh, absolutely.
And just kind of reposition your thinking on the body, you know, like I don't want to think about that. I want to think about the love and the life and the spirit. But my kids come with me to mass too, and they come willingly, which I can't say was always the case. So that's always a beautiful thing too, because, you know, Mike and I planted seeds of faith in their hearts, and this is what's carrying them through. And so that makes me super happy to know that too.
My kids were, you know, brought up in the whole thing, all the different, they have all their sacraments except for the marriage one. And I know it's in them, and I know they reference it now. They don't necessarily go to the building, which to me, the building's the building, but I don't need the building to be faithful or to be close to God. I feel like in all the people. So I know it's in them.
Yeah.
And we planted it in them, and I know my son, especially Martin, is really, really gone back to that, talking about it with me. We talk about different Gospels we read for the day and different things. And
I love that, Paula. Do you really? That's
it's
awesome.
amazing. And so we planted the seed, and it's there for them when they're ready.
Yeah.
And I do pray at church that they'll find him again in their own way. The building doesn't matter to me. Like I said, I don't believe in all that. I think God's everywhere, and I think that just to believe it is enough, and all the rest is sort of man-made stuff sometimes. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's important to have communion if you can, but it's all just to have it in your heart.
I mean, God is everywhere. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's all the love.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just good for people to know that we talk about that veil, right? Because that helps with death. It helps to know that, you know, we've talked about this before, but that the relationship isn't over. Like they're in heaven, and you can still have that relationship with them.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that more when we talk about the signs. We've got so many wonderful stories with that. I also want to go back to just like you talked about the blogging. I love that you do that, and I was gifted from my daughter Sophia this journal at Christmas. So Mike passed in September, and Christmas, she gave me this beautiful journal, and her best friend Celine had designed, she's an artist, this hawk on it. So I've got this beautiful, and it's by my bed, and I write in it. I wrote in it a lot in the beginning, and definitely less now. I'm not much of a writer, but I think just to keep in mind, like I feel like there were so many thoughts flying around my head at the time. And I don't know if you do this, Paula, but I was trying to figure out like what happened. Like, why did he get sick? What happened? And so I had to put it down somewhere, get it out of my head, just get it out. There's too much in my head. And so this is what my therapist had advised me to do. And it was such a gift that she gave me, because I get it down there, so I don't have to think about it anymore. It's in my journal. I can go look back and look anytime. I have timelines. I have medical information. I have all this stuff. It's just there. So I don't have to hold on to it anymore. Right. And it was just really, really helpful to me to have it in one spot and know that it's safe, and that's where it is.
It's funny you say that. My son, Mac, gave me a book that says, I Want to Know You, Mom. And it's a whole book of questions. And it's all about, and he was really upset when he found it. He said, I wish I had this for Dad. Oh. The 9 months he was sick, to write it down. Yeah. And I said, well, you have mine. So I'll do this, and I'll write a lot about Dad in this and how it's the best book. Like
what are some of the questions?
Oh, like who was your best first grade teacher? What was your favorite color? What was your first day of kindergarten like? Who was your first friend? Yeah. It goes way back, and then all the way to like who's your tree? You write down on your family tree, and then you write down your favorites. You write down who'd you go to prom with? Who broke your heart first? I mean, really really good questions. And then how did you meet Dad? And I wrote a lot about that. And then I wrote a lot about him and how I was like head over heels in love. And I'm like, oh crap, this isn't going to be good, because he was just, he told me not to be boastful, but he said, it was like fireworks were going on behind you. And I said, oh my God, I felt the same way.
I can tell the story for you. She's coming down the stairs.
Oh, that's so funny. I think about that story a lot because it brings me through.
Yeah,
some days.
It's such a beautiful story.
So the gift in that is that my cousin Krista, who's much younger than I, just lost her husband in February, on Valentine's Day.
Oh, no.
On February 14th, 2026. And so I try to, when he was sick, I sent her one and him one. So I finally got one to someone. So they really enjoyed writing them together.
Oh, that's beautiful.
While he was, and that's, I can't say as a sick person, but to write that stuff down and get all the information out, knowing, and he knew, Chris knew, and he was so strong and so brave for the 2 years he fought so hard, and it was good for them together to write that story of them. So, and I pray for Krista a lot every day and her kids, because I know where she is.
No, we always,
She's 3 months.
We hear so many stories, and it just breaks your heart every time you hear, someone that has lost someone that's, the love of their life, their soulmate. Yeah. And we know exactly how they feel. I know that I just feel such like a pit in my stomach because I know what they're in for.
Oh,
I want to give people hope, but it's so sad because it brings you back to that fog, that time of darkness that you're just waking up and just barely able to like get out of bed and move,
and
right?
Think about it. I mean, she said this very first text I had with her after he passed, she said, this is all wrong. We were supposed to grow old together.
Yeah.
And they're in their 50s. Yeah. And they're young.
Grief can feel overwhelming and often very lonely. If you're navigating the loss of your spouse, we invite you to join our support and inspiration group in Scituate, Massachusetts. We meet every second Thursday of the month from 7 to 8:30 at 344 Gannett Road.
We're teaching our nephews and our nieces and our people to feel they have pain too.
Yeah, no,
and sometimes we forget that.
We gotta remember that they have these relationships too. Totally agree.
Yeah.
It just came back to me, so I have to say it before I forget again.
Sure.
So it has to do with just the advice I got from. Could we call him Kendall?
I know.
We're not gonna give his real name, but anyway,
I'm sure he's struggling.
So he lost his wife too. His wife passed right around the time that Mike passed, and we were connected. But he told me I was complaining. I was complaining about just being super lonely and like no one ever invites me to do anything. And this is probably about 7 months, after Mike had passed. I was spending my Friday nights like in Mike's office, paying bills, crying, going through the medical stuff. Like that's how I would do it. Every Friday night I'd be in there. Just
soaking wet.
Yeah, just miserable. He's like, Tamara, you need to stop that. He's like, you need to like do something fun for yourself once a week. And so he's like, if no one's inviting you, you need to invite other people. And so I've been pretty amazing. Probably 90% of the time I'm making plans for Friday nights. And it kind of sets my weekend up. If I do nothing on Saturday night, I don't care. I feel like I've gone through the week.
Yes.
I've done something social Friday night, and it might just be a dinner for a couple hours with some friends or with a friend or whatever it might be.
Right.
And I'm home by 9 o'clock, and that's fine.
Yep.
Doesn't really matter. I just that I'm doing something. I feel like an adult. I feel like I'm, not hermiting up in my house, which is what I absolutely was doing.
And get dressed up again and kind of feel like a lady.
Yes. And so I recommend that. And, we talked about the saying the yes, but if people aren't inviting, just create your own yes and just do it.
Yeah.
So that was super helpful.
He had a lot of good advice. He painted his house. I did that.
Oh yeah,
I
he
can't
gave me that
believe
too.
how I've changed. My family's like, what's going on?
I know. Painted the downstairs. I redid my floors. I know.
In 20 hours.
I know.
Everything's changed.
Yeah.
Everything in the decor has changed. And at first I didn't think I would like that, but I really do.
I do
like
too.
that.
It's like a breath of fresh air for some reason. I haven't gotten rid of my refrigerator that was like freezing the eggs and stuff. So I actually figured it out. So I was kind of funny because it was like this little spring that came off the condenser that it wasn't opening and closing properly. So it was just freezing everything, frozen milk, frozen eggs. It was such a pain for like a year and a half. We were having trouble, but I mean, my kitchen does need a little lift, but I haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah, it's a beautiful house. Your home
Thanks,
is just
Paula.
beautiful. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
thank you.
And like you said, Mike, he did all that. I wish I
know.
could see her yard. It's paradise.
It's
Backyard is
paradise. No,
And
not
that's what I'm
like
doing for my yard. I'm doing that now. We would have done that eventually, but I don't know because I think we would have been traveling. I think our
Yeah.
focus would have been elsewhere,
Yeah.
and which isn't a bad thing. But I just think this is where I'm staying. So I have to
But
make
you
this
don't
my
want to move
sanctuary.
because of the memories, right?
Yeah,
Same.
I
don't wanna
can't.
move because
And my
of the
kids
memories.
don't want me to.
No.
Speaking of which, you said about the fridge, and I always think about your Christmas tree story, which is really it's really awful story, but it always kind of makes me laugh because I understand
Yeah.
just being so mad and screaming out at them like, this is your job,
Yeah.
and that's become less.
Mm-hmm.
And now you say, well, I can do that.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
mad,
Yeah.
still mad that I have to do it, but. The office is one place I've not been allowed. My kids don't allow me to change the office.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I respect.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I mean, I kind of want to change it, but I don't want it to not be him anymore either. So
Yeah.
that's probably the last thing that I would touch. But
The only thing I did in Mike's office that's different is I hung up a framed lacrosse shirt that he had from UNH that just was sitting there for years. It just had never been hung up.
That's
So
awesome.
this is love. Like some of Chris, like we call them the crew. It was like Christopher's friends' parents, like Mike and I, was like our group of people. We call them the crew. Some of the crew dads came over one day and they just hung that thing for me.
It's amazing.
So yeah, it was super heavy and super hard to do. I guess I have to say I probably could have figured it out, right, Paula? But
Yeah,
I didn't really want to,
especially
especially then.
No.
And they just came over and
especially in the
took care
beginning.
of it.
Yeah.
So it was just awesome. So I love having that.
Do you remember falling into just a pile of saying, you just remember something would break and you just go, I don't even know how to do this. And
Yeah.
I'd fall in a pile of like sobbing, like just
Yeah.
soaking wet.
Yeah.
When Marty was home, when Jeff passed and he was home on leave, he's a Marine, my eyes were beet red. Like I had to get medication for my eyes. I'd cried so much that I got like sort of a form of conjunctivitis. I don't know what it is, but
Jeez.
it's that physical.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
yeah,
what
your whole
helps us
body.
here.
Oh my gosh. It's that absolutely physical. I mean, the year that Mike was sick, I think like I feel like my hormones were so messed up that I just smelled different. I smelled sick almost.
Yeah.
I was sick too. I was like, I don't like the way that I smell. I smell sick.
You don't even
Sweating,
know
just whatever
yourself.
it was.
Yeah.
No, it was awful. It was so awful. I lost so much weight. It looked gross.
Yeah, 10 pounds. I lost 10 pounds.
Yeah, me too.
In like 2 months
Yeah.
from stress.
Yeah.
But that's another thing we could bring up at our group is that the more reading I'm doing, I didn't do all this reading before.
Yeah.
I didn't do reading about pancreatic cancer, and now how I know you get it. And I look at pictures now and go, oh, I see
Yeah.
it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And why didn't they see it?
Right. When you went to
So-
the doctor, right?
Yeah.
We have a beef
so
with all of
mad.
the medical systems, right?
Oh, I'm disappointed. I'm mad. Resentful in a
Yeah.
lot of ways still.
I bet a lot of people. I bet it's us too. We have that. I bet there's so many people,
Oh,
that
absolutely.
have a problem. There's too many. There's not enough time the doctors have to spend on individuals or something, and like we just don't have enough. What we're going through with the fear and everything else, we don't have necessarily the right mindset or the education
No,
to
it's
be
the education. for
piecing it
sure.
all together, which
Yeah.
is definitely one of the regrets you have, right?
And where's your focus? The whole thing is we got to get him better. We got to get him
Yeah.
better. We're going to get it better. This is going to work. That's going to work. And you're just on this treadmill of, oh my gosh, just get better. Just get better. It's going to be okay. It's
I
going to
know.
be okay.
I had the hope until I didn't have the hope.
Oh.
Had it all the way to the end, Paula, right?
Ditto, yeah.
Which is a blessing. I have to say, like, I feel for people who don't have the hope because of whatever the diagnosis or whatever the tragedy might be. Like, it's just, the hope keeps you going. So that's a gift from God, in my opinion, to always hold on to that hope. You never know what divine intervention might come by,
Oh.
so you don't know. So
Absolutely.
hopefully people always hold on to that. We're coming up to 30 minutes, so I'm thinking, Paula, if we can, I want to give Will Dempsey a shout out because
Oh, yes.
so I'm going to give a little bit of a summary here, and then I want Paula to share her story because I was just so moved by this. I was so moved by the fact that we decided we wanted to play Will Dempsey's song at the end of our podcast. And then my daughter was like, "You need copyrights, Mom." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like,
Duh.
"How do I get that?" I know. She's like, "Mom."
What?
And so, yeah, what? Huh? And, and so I'm like, "Oh, how do I reach out to Will Dempsey?" And she's like, "Get him on social media." So I just messaged him on Instagram, and they took a bit to get back, just a few days, because I guess he was traveling, but his team got back to me. And I explained what Paula and I are doing here with our support group, what our podcast is for, how it's, not ever intended to be for profit, but, at some point we might want to try to get some advertising so we can do something like some kind of scholarship for our husbands at the high schools, some kind of give back to people who are entering this awful journey with us, and just to help them get going, because there's so much more financial responsibilities, obviously, when you lose your spouse.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And anyway, the email back was just so heartfelt and so kind and such a big yes with 100 exclamation points. And it just filled my heart to no end. So we just, a shout out to Will Dempsey, to his song, Beat You There, which is all about, your spouse beating you to heaven. And it just gave...
Spouse or best friend or anyone that you were really super, super, super close to. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Paula, you share, please, your wonderful story.
So literally, I think, honestly, 2 days after Jeff passed, my dear brother-in-law, John, I know, Dash, he likes him too, sent me the song, I Beat You There, by Will Dempsey. And how he got it was his good friend Jeff, ironically, sent it to him and said, this is a really good song. I think you'll like it. And then John listened to it, and then he sent it to me. And I think I listen to it almost daily because it gives me hope. It makes me less afraid, and I really relate to it. So I shared that with Tam because we were trying to think of a song that would explain how we feel. And she really liked it. And then, of course, was it Ava that said you had to get
It was Sophia.
Sophia said, yeah, that's all great, but you guys can't just steal it.
Yeah.
So then that, all of this stuff we just keep rolling and rolling, and it makes us feel like we're doing the right thing, we're on the right path.
Right, we're on the right path.
So that was, so I thought it was really, and I thought it was really a nice gesture on Jeff's part, and it was really good, of course, John to share it with me, and I think everyone would benefit from listening to it.
I know, it moves me all the time too. Yeah. So thanks again, everyone, for listening to us, and we hope that our podcast today resonated with you, and we'd always love to hear from you. And here's the song.
I don't know why God always takes the good ones first. And man, I've tried to be strong and carry on, but damn, this hurts. And I just wish that I could talk to you again somehow, some way. Even if it's for a moment, so I can hear you say, don't cry for me, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm better than you know. And this life can be a shorter ride, so don't waste it on sorrow. And just hold on to those moments and the memories we shared. We're both headed for the same place anyway. I just beat you there. I know they say, just give it a little time, you'll be okay. But that might be true. It don't really help me. And we ain't supposed to question the man upstairs, but there's just so much I don't understand. It just don't seem fair. Don't cry for me, I'm alright. I'm better than you know. And this life can be a shorter ride, so don't waste it on sorrow. And just hold on to those moments and the memories we shared. We're both headed for the same place anyway. I just beat you there. And as each day goes by, I get a little bit stronger, but that don't stop me from like I know you'd want me to. And I know you're watching over me in everything I do. And all those things I never got to say, well, I'll send them with this prayer. Then look up, wipe my tears and raise my beer. And I'll see you there.